Okay. My name is Joel Babbs. I'm a 34-year veteran of the San Francisco Police Department, and I was born and raised in San Francisco, and I still currently reside in San Francisco. My ordeal started in 1991 when I applied in 1990 to the police department. In 1991, the process was all done, and I received a call on November 29th of 1991 from my inspector, Anna Brown, informing me that I had lied to her because I didn't tell her that, well, first of all, she said she lied to me and said that I didn't give a 2 weeks notice, which was false. That was a false statement. And she said why I didn't tell her that I was rich. My former employer told her I was rich. I said, nowhere does it say on the background packet that to say whether or not a candidate was rich. She asked me how rich was I? I said, that's still not public knowledge. She said, well, he told me a number. I said, I have nothing to do with what he told you. I'm telling you, that's not on there, and that's not a criteria. I didn't lie to you about anything. Why are we talking about that? Well, she went on to tell me that because I didn't give a 2 weeks notice that I lied. I said, I was in your office on July, I believe, 2nd, and you gave me the okay. Everything was good, that I'm the candidate. I'll be sitting in the class of 170th. No more. I haven't heard anything from you until today. Everything was good. You shook my hand. I walked out of your office at 850 Bryant, and everything was good. Now you telling me you just received a call from my former employer who he was going out of business, and he went out of business in a week's time. And I stayed until the final days. And he told you I was rich. I passed with flying colors. Everything checked out. My story checked out. A year long of background checks, financial checks, health checks, and all the whatever it entails by becoming a candidate to sit up in the police academy. I passed with flying colors. And only until you found out that I was rich, that has no bearing on me being a candidate, no bearing on anything. And now you yelling and screaming and calling me all these names about I lied to you. You're lying to me by saying that I lied. That's incorrect. She said, well, you're not going to be paid. You should just quit right now. You can quit over the phone. I have authorization to have you quit to me over the phone. And that's what you should do. Because, after the academy ends, you're not going to be paid. I said, no, I'm not going to quit. If you're telling me to give up the job that I know that I fought hard to get and went through all the testing process, and you said, give it up just because you found out I'm rich, I'm not going to do that. I said, I took this job to make myself, to make myself wealthy, to enrich myself using the same strategy that made me rich in the first place that you have a problem with. I said, I'm going forward with this because all I need is a job to pay me consistently like this city job would, and I will be richer than I ever was, rich, and probably the richest person that ever lived, just off of a job, because no one's ever done or ever did or ever attempted to do what I've done already. So I know what it takes to become the richest man in the world. And that's my only goal here, to work hard here at this job, do an exceptional job, win the admiration of the public. And I know I'm not going to be accepted by my peers because I'm not like my peers. and just do the best job I can for the citizens of San Francisco. That's it. So I'm not leaving, Inspector Brown. She said, okay, well, you're not going to be paid from here on out. After the academy, 6 months at the academy under the federal government will be paying for your salary. You're not going to be paid. You still want to continue? I said, I'm still going to continue. So fast forward that to, I got several visits up at the academy over the years. Over the 6 months, from ING, wanting me to get into, they came up one time, guy with a briefcase said that he wanted me to join the deferred comp. I said, no, I wouldn't do scam like that. And he said, wait, we got a guy calling it a scam. I said, it's definitely a scam. Can I get my money back in the same calendar year? What's the rate of return? Where's my money being put? How is my money working? I've got a lot of questions to ask you before I sign a deposit slip, just blindly giving you over a percentage of my money that I haven't even made yet. That's crazy. I lived my whole life so far, 29 years, and I haven't done something crazy like that with my money, nor will I ever do that. I signed up for this job, sir, for the health benefits and to make money by doing a great job, a good job, each and every day for the citizens of San Francisco. That's all I want to do, sir, and just make my money and make overtime and invest my money. He said, well, you're going to be washed out. You're going to be washed out. We're going to wash you out here at the academy. And then the other staff came in, Ed Springer and all these other people. They came in, a Captain Lawson, people from the city attorney's office, and all said that I should just quit, tried to pressure me into quitting. Well, I didn't take the bait, and I didn't quit. I said, let me tell you guys something. Here, or wherever else, I got to tell you, my father worked 33 to 34 years at the San Francisco International Airport as a janitor. He never missed one paycheck. And how could it be that his son comes into a racist organization, knowing that I know it's racist, come into a racist organization like the police department. I'm in the belly of the beast, and you guys are already hitting me with some racial crap, talking about you're not going to pay me. But my dad got paid with no problem, and he wasn't a threat to anyone. He did his job for 34 years, I believe, and never had a problem, and I don't think he ever missed a day of work. That's what I plan on doing. Does any of you have a problem with that? They said, well, we have a big problem with that, Mr. Babbs, is we're not here to enrich you and have you make millions or whatever you do on whatever the stock market or whatever you do. We're not here to enrich you. So this is not, we don't have anyone like you before, and we're not going to create a problem with you here, and you having other people investing. You bet not do any of that shit here. It's not warranted. We have cops. We keep them poor and dumb. We keep them laser focused on police work. That's what it says, and not poor and dumb. I said, I'll be laser focused on police work myself. I said, but when it comes to doing something with my money, I'm not going to blindly give it to any of you guys. Well, they said, well, you have to pay into the POA. I said, well, what's a POA do? They said, well, you need POA for representation. I said, well, that's okay, but why? I don't plan on getting in any trouble or anything like that. I'm not going to. Why do I need the POA? Well, they convinced me I need the POA to stay out of trouble. That I might, that I can't, I will not foresee down the future that I'll get into trouble. They assured me I will get into trouble down in the future, down the line. I said, well, how does that work? They said, well, by us putting cases on you, and you have to defend yourself. You have if you would be going into fighting these cases by yourself, but at the POA they would help you fight the case, or if they see that it's not a winnable case, they would just bail out on you. I said, but I still have to pay. They said, yeah. It's kind of like we're the mafia and we do what we want, and you have to pay and shut your mouth. See, right now you're already starting trouble. I said, well, I said, I have a 3-year-old daughter. I want to pay for medical. You guys hit me with all these forms, deduction forms, direct deposit forms today, like 3 or 4 direct deposit forms. Everyone's taken. Colonial, ING, police, the police credit union, direct deposit to there. Geez, you guys are just hitting me left and right with these deposit slips. I said, I don't want any of that but medical. Just medical. And you guys say I need the police, the POA. So that's just those 2. And everything else, I'm just going to have to do without. So thank you very much, but no thanks. So that entailed maybe 4 or 5 more visits, and they said that I mysteriously failed a KD. I took 4 one day, and they said, oh, come on into the office. You failed one of the KDs. You're supposed to at least get 80, and you got 78. So come on to the office. So I went into the office, and I was told that if I join the deferred comp, they can make that grade. They can change that grade right now to a passing grade. It's still the same day, only less than 30 minutes after I've taken the test, they can change that grade to a pass. And I can walk up out of here, and I would be on even footing like everyone else, and I would pass with flying colors, no problem. But if you don't play ball at this level, it's going to be a hard road from here on out. So I said, no, I'll just take the test. They said, well, tomorrow you come in and you take the test again. It's just going to be you sitting here in a room, and you have to take that test. You fail that test again, and you're out of here. So we don't want you anyway, because you're not a team player. We're talking to you too much, and we're at odds with you. So I said, okay, I'll just have to take the test tomorrow. So I took the test. I passed. Wasn't told the score, but I got over 80 and I passed. And I never had a problem that way again, because they can fix the test whatever way they want. So they told me. From there, I went on to walked across the stage in May, and I went on to Terraville Station. But as I was walking across the stage, Deputy Reed, who pinned my star on me, told me that to go down to 1390 Market, the 6th floor, and the city attorney wanted to meet with me because I was no longer getting paid a salary. I would not be paid from that day forward, from that day forward. And so I went down there. I was working days, so I went there on my off day, which I think it was the Thursday of that following week. I graduated on a Friday, so I think I went there the next Thursday was my next off day. So I went there in the morning and went to the front desk, and the girl at the front desk said, I told her my presence and my name and everything, and she told me that that I would be seen by Louise Rennie was at that time. I asked for Louise Rennie, and she said she wouldn't be seeing me, but someone from her team would be meeting with me. So three people came out. One guy was mad, and a lady and another guy came out, but he's the only one said his name. The other one's just kind of standing by. He said, yeah, we're expecting you, and we want to ask you to voluntarily quit. I said, no, I'm not going to quit. I heard that before, and I think I met with you up at the academy once or twice already. He said, yeah, you did. He said, you don't get it. You're not going to be paid from here on out. You're an at-will employee, and we don't have any obligation to pay you. So we want you to voluntarily quit. You know, you're on probation for a year for FTO. I was just starting FTO, and then another year, I guess, probation, maybe 18 months total. And I said, I didn't do anything wrong, and I'm just going to stay here. They said, well, how rich am I? I said, this doesn't have anything to do with how rich I am. This has to do with my job performance. And I tell you, I passed the academy. Now I'm looking forward to FTO, field training. So I don't know. Is anyone else going through this? They said, no, you're the first in the history of the police department to ever go. We never had anyone like here like you. Everyone goes along with the program, and you're too rich to listen. And we're trying to give you good advice, and we're looking out for you, and you just don't get it. I said, look, I came here to make myself wealthy. My dad did this job. I know this is my second time saying this. My dad did this job for 34 years and never had a problem. I said, I plan on doing this job for 40 years and being the richest person to ever walk the face of the earth. This off of my salary and my investment styles. And they found that appalling. They found that upsetting. They found that I was being a pompous asshole. They called me a pompous asshole. And I said, no, I just know money too well to just give it to you guys blindly. I'm not going to do that. So it was a little back and forth and what have you. So they said, so he produced a copy, looks like from a history book on slavery, 13th Amendment to the Constitution on slavery, where it reads, if you're a descendant of a slave, and you're caught and convicted of a crime, the punishment for the crime will be transformed. That's the word in there, and he showed me, transformed into whatever that crime is today. And that crime being that I lied. And I was convicted. I was duly convicted. That's the word. By my peers. I said I never had a trial, and I wasn't convicted, and I didn't lie. They said, well, that's what we're running with. I said, here's a copy of my background meeting with Inspector Anna Brown, where it shows that I passed And that wasn't the issue until months later, 6 months later, he called her and told her, don't hire me because I'm rich. That's not my fault. And that's not even a criteria to lose my job over. Well, we're not going to pay you. We're not going to ever pay you. And you're just wasting your time. You know, it's an uphill battle. Louise Rennie, our department, payroll department, SFPD payroll, they're on board. The controller's office is on board. The credit union is on board. And we write policy here at the San Francisco City Attorney's Office for all employees of City and County of San Francisco. And we're all in unison. So you're not going to be paid. This is it. If you'd be lucky to get anything. Now tell us again, how'd you make your money in the stock market? What do you buy? I mean, how do you do this? I said, I'm not telling you anything. I said, but what I'll do, I'll give you my annual report each year, and I'll put down XYZ stock in which I purchase. How about that? They said, no, we're going to do you one better. We're just not going to pay you. Per the 13th Amendment, you violated the 13th Amendment. I said, but what about the rule of law? What about my police officer Bill of Rights? What about fairness? This is illegal. Well, we're the city attorney's office. We write policy. We do what we want. See you later. You're not getting paid. Be lucky if you receive anything. Are you still going to stay? If you don't get paid, you're still going to stay? That's pretty crazy. You're stupid. I said, I got to follow my heart. I got to follow what's right. And God gives me guidance. I got to go with those things. And my father, I seen my father's paychecks. Every 2 weeks, my father got a paycheck. Like clockwork. I got to go with that. Fast forward that to a couple of months later, I'm receiving pennies on the dollar to my checks. 80 hours worked. I get maybe $200, $175. Then I had a big extraction each month. Chief Willett said I hit his daughter's car from the rear. And he said that's costing every 2 weeks, I got to give him $500 for her car. That's crazy. But every 2 weeks, he was at Patrol Station, and I had to give him money, $500 cash. Now, if that's not the craziest thing, then other things would be brought up, and they said, hey, you looked at someone wrong, and how much money you have on your right now? You're going to spend time in the holding cell right now at Bayview Station. This is after FTO. This is 3 months after FTO. Because during FTO, I didn't receive any threats or any bother and anything like that. I just didn't receive a steady paycheck. After that, but once I was all done with FTO and no one was looking out for me like they trained me and they were looking out, it was just a free-for-all. People started asking for money and demanding money and leaving me with nothing. Go cash your check, and we're taking this, you're taking that, because hey, we heard you rich, you don't need the money anyway. We don't care. Blacks, whites, mostly whites and blacks were taking my money back then. Just going in my pocket, just taking it. And just say I did something, you can take a look at my Google Drive, and you can see all the cases that I'm being accused of, left and right, and it was just crazy. And so I said, okay, hold on. I said, okay, you guys want to know what I'm doing? By then I'm making a tremendous amount of money. Some great stocks I have start going up. It was the beginning. It came in. I was born at the right time. I was born at the right place. This couldn't have happened to anyone else but me because of the timing God put me on this earth. The timing God put me on this earth, and the timing of the digital age, the computer age, the chip age. It was just a great time to be an American. My wealth just in the next 10 years, I made the bulk of my money for the next 30 years was cemented in those stocks being under $1, like Apple, Microsoft, AMD, Oracle, just great, tremendous stocks that just suddenly took off because the computer age was here, and creativity, innovation, the world starving for faster and better. And I said, I came back to them on this time, looking at my checks that were paltry, what was minuscule. I said, let's work out something. I said, I came to my then chief, my then assistant chief, and I said, can I teach you guys how to invest? I said, I wanted to do that at the academy with my class, but you guys told me I couldn't do it. I wanted to do it with my academy class and rid the world of racism, because you would be so rich, you wouldn't worry about how Black people live. You wouldn't worry about how someone with a fancy car lives, and you wouldn't beat them, you wouldn't kill them, you wouldn't shoot them. But because you live like that, because of me, let me just show you guys how to live. No, we don't want that shit. We don't want that shit. Get on out of here with that shit. You can't. So it kind of led on. One or two said, "Hey, let's get the academy one night a week. Let's make it Thursday at 7, and 7. It got moved to 8, and let's see what he's doing." One of the older guys that now retired said, "Let's see what he's doing." So I went out. I went to Stacy's bookstore on Market Street, and I got everyone a little book called Investing by Dummies. Investing for Dummies. Same book I used. Maybe they got offended on the name or what have you, but I got 12 books for them. I think they were $1.98 each. And it's just a starter kit on how to start investing, recognize, PEs, market trends, how to read charts and tickers and things like that. So I said, I passed out. We had full class with 3 people standing at the academy this night. It was about 8:00 on a Thursday. And first I said, "Hey, here's a book." Well, just about all of them got offended on the name of the book. What shit is this? What is this about? Oh, you fucking with us? I said, no. This is just the name of the book. I said, I'm trying to show you guys how to invest. I said, right now, these stocks, one thing, I said, one thing about these stocks right now, they won't be the same 10 years from now. Nothing stays the same. We won't be using pencil and paper like we write these reports. We're going to be using computers. They're going to run so fast. They're going to do equations so fast. It's just the digital age is coming. You can't, we don't want that shit. They're smoking. Back then you can smoke. We didn't have the whistleblower back then. It was just in your face racism, and you took it, and that was it. And that's it. You smoked. They drank on duty, and it was just a violent, rough and tough, old Western culture of failure and drinking. Then you die, and you're overweight, diabetes, or whatever they're doing. Then they're fighting at home or whatever, and the kids are crazy on drinking, and then they come into the department with DUIs and everything, and that's overlooked and all that, but they're scrutinizing me for making a fortune outside of the police department. That's never been done before in the history of any job. No one's ever achieved what I achieved in any job across the board. But they got a problem with Joel Babbs to the point of they hate me so much, they got to get rid of me. Mayor after mayor would come see me and said, "Get your black ass out of here." Frank Jordan was a mayor at the time. You still here? He would go on to be mayor. Then Willie Brown would come after him. "Man, I'm running you out of here. You got to get out of here. You got to be, hey man, do that shit somewhere else. This job ain't for you." Over building wealth and not beating on anyone and trying to show them. That night class I told you, that lasted one time. I think it was 30 minutes. Everyone was cleared out by then. But then individually they would come. Mindy Pingle. I would later go into 1993 and 94. I would go to Housing Task Force. And the first thing, she pulls me up in there and she has me look at her dismal portfolio of deferred comp, where she's got these investments. And she says, "Look, what do you think of this? I got $1 million. I said, "That's horrible." She said, "What the fuck are you talking about?" I said, "That's horrible." I said, this is horrible." I said, "For all that time and you're on the tail end of your career, that's horrible." I said, "The guy at ING told us in 1991 that 30 years from now, we're all gonna be millionaires. Everyone's gonna be millionaires." And so I interrupted his thing and said, "Only 1 million? He hit the roof, and that's the firestorm I live in to this day. And those people still don't have 1 million today. Not even 1 million. It's mind-boggling how people are more racist than they were back then, which was really racist, with no rules. They didn't have workplace harassment. They didn't have all these laws that were created as a big bureaucracy to make them money, but no one would ever enforce the laws. It created laws for lawyers to say, "Hey, I'll take this case in this case, but I won't take this case." How about this? Willie Brown, Dianne Feinstein, all of them, everybody I met, all these people, they said, "Look, the California judicial system is not available to you. Get out of here." How about that? 1998, 99, they put all these cases. The POA is not available to you. The OFJ, which is a joke, that's not, I never joined that till the tail end. And the reason why I joined that is just to make them do something, which they don't do nothing. Blacks are worse than whites here at the force. And white people are so pathetic and racist and dumb and poor. Not without money. Poor as in no money. When they get money, it's this one guy. I think he's at Park Station. This guy gets married 3 or 4 times. I think he's been married. And he buys the latest toys. There, he plays these video games all day. Says, nigger on this. Hey, JP, I said nigger on there. And I play these games and I call these motherfuckers nigger and all this shit like that. I call everybody nigger. And then I said, huh? And they do this all day. When the stock market is open from 6:30 to 1, these people are playing racist games when they could be making $100 million. It's just and then now you mad at me? I made a choice. I sacrificed being smart and listening to Warren Buffett and my favorite Sam Zell and Jack Welch when he came out with his book and he's running GE. It's just a great businessman. And then Warren Buffett, 2008, the world came to Warren Buffett. Obama came to Warren Buffett, said, help us out of this. Help us out of this crisis, this financial crisis. Warren Buffett offered his advice to a president. That's how, no one's following a person with the presence, with the mindset of Warren Buffett. And then you add inventors in there, like Apple, my friend, Steve Jobs. We would sit for hours back when he stole his company. He's so bitter to the end. In his death, he only owned less than 0.5% of Apple. I told him I'm gonna make sure that you own whatever I own. We own that jointly, Steve. Come on, it's just wrong what they did for you. So today, I own 5.8 billion shares of Apple. 5.8 billion. That translates to $1 trillion. I did that for Steve Jobs, my friend. I was introduced to him by another great man, Donald Fisher, owner of The Gap. Donald Fisher said in 1982, he says, Joel, you have to meet this guy. This guy is unbelievable. He introduced me to Steve Jobs. Immediately, we hit it off. And we kept in touch. And we would sit for hours at the Berkeley Marina just talking about me and how I came to be the way I am, how I'm built, how I'm hardwired the way I am, and how did I figure out that the only thing that excites me, that makes me happy, is numbers in the stock market. I don't see nothing else. I'm not happy with I've never bought a house in my life. I never spent money frivolously or crazy, like going out and buy jewelry or the latest cars. I'd rather buy the stock. I never bought. Being friends with Steve Jobs, I said, Steve, I'll never buy an Apple product because it's just too expensive. But I love the stock. He said, Joel, that's just you. And he accepted me for who I am. But other people in the business world I met, and they can tell you that's it for my name dropping. But it's just, then you had titans come along that to do deals and that just made them just iconic, like Larry Flint with BlackRock and these guys, and Charles Schwab. All I wanted to do, here's the funniest thing. All I wanted to do was move my money. I said, since you're not giving me any, in the credit unions, just keeping my money, not giving me anything. I said, let me move it to my Charles Schwab account. Let me move it to Charles Schwab. They said no, because then you'll make money and we'll look bad. How is that? So fast forward that to today. Fast forward that to 2021. Fast forward that, let's not skip years. Fast forward that to 2017. Let's fast forward that to 2015. So I get transferred to Muni on April 10th, Muni detail. And they tell me, hey, you here at Muni, we were still not going to be paying you. It doesn't matter. You go from unit to unit. We're not going to pay you. You've been sending in each year what you're worth. So you're in upwards of, I think it was 45 billion at that time. They said, 45 billion. I said, you guys sat here and watched me grow it the whole time. 45 billion. They said, how in the hell you think we're going to pay that? We're just not going to pay you. Every lawyer, you can't get a lawyer in the United States of America. You can't get a lawyer. I said, that's fine. They said, not only that, Mr. Babbs, we're going to make ironclad sure that no one helps you legally with anything. Now what do you have? I said, I still have my dignity. I still have the love of God. And I still have my money, even if it's on paper. That money will be paid to Joel Babbs. I made that money. I said, you're the only place on earth that does an employee like that because I'm successful. That's it. I got to tell you that it defies the rule of law. It flies in the face of the U.S. Constitution. 2nd, 4th, 6th, 13th, 14th Amendment. And the thing about it is, when you put lawyers here to try to deny me an income that doesn't take a lawyer to produce my income, and you're giving me a check worth $1, has a value of $1.70 after working 80 hours of regular pay and 40 hours of overtime, I only receive $1.70 for 5 or 6 years. And right now, currently, when you fired me, when you illegally fired me for nothing, for just being rich, and Mayor Daniel Leary, that's what I want you to see. The best employee in the world that can that only want to bring prosperity through wealth and honesty, prosperity of wealth, create wealth, bringing a racist department, police departments all over America are racist. I had a plan to alleviate all that through creating wealth, not being mad at any color. Did that happen? I created wealth for me. But look at, you take my base pay, my salary, plus I do a lot of overtime. So that's why they just stripped me of the overtime. They charged me with rape, murder, stealing my own plate. Geez. You know, when they put the rape charge on me, rape, it might as well be rape. When they put that charge on me, they said, Joel, it's either that or we can charge you with this homeless murder in the park. And we got you dead to rights on that. I said, homeless murder? They said, yeah, you remember that gun that we took from you back in 98? I said, huh? They said, yeah, remember your car got broken into at 7th and Brannan? I said, yeah. They said, yeah. Rob Terry did the prints on your car? I said, yeah. They said, we have that gun. And that's the gun that we're going to plant on you for the murder in the park. I said, my Beretta FS 92? They said, yeah, we have that gun. I said, you're going to do what? He said, we're going to plant that gun on you. Gavin Newsom's going to let it fly. Gavin Newsom shut down all legal avenues for you. You can't have any representation, and you're going to be sitting up in there for murder. We got Tippy Mizuko over there. We have Judge Stephen Breyer over there ready to see your case. The same judge that, you know what, put your boy Ian Furminger in jail. They said, yeah, you going down for murder. You leave right now and we don't hit you with this murder case. I said, you can't do that. I said, without a shred of evidence? They said, we can do whatever we want to do. Take this case, leave right now, or we're going to put this rape case on you. You meet with the tomorrow. You go over and meet with Mayor London Breed at 3rd and Paloux. And Malia Cohen's going to be there. The police commissioner. Mike Redmond's going to be there. Troy Dangerfield's going to be there. And gentleman that I know from the neighborhood, from around the area, that works for her is Sean, I can't think of his name right now. Sean, he comes up to me. He's part of the mayor's staff. And Sean tells me, he said, yeah, hey, JB, we were all talking about you last night at the mayor's office. I said, talking about me? I said, I'm just an officer. He said, yeah, today they're going to get you today. They're going to pin a rape on you today. I said, wait a minute. I said, she called me down here to pin a rape on me? I said, I thought I said, I was called down here by wealth disparities. The lady over there, she helped me in the past, but she since been demanding money from me. And then she told me to come down here and meet her to give her some money. And the mayor to come stand by the mayor, right next to the mayor. I have the emails, I have the texts and everything. And Sean Richardson, that's it, that's his name. He came up to me and told me they were talking about that. I said, wait a minute, is this where we going with this? He said, yeah. So she's going to tell you today just to resign before they put this case. They don't want to go on record and put this case on you. It's coming from Mayor Gavin, Governor Gavin Newsom, and he wants Javier Becerra before he went to the White House. He met with me and said he's not doing anything. State of California, he shut me down. All the attorneys, all you have to do is save Joel Babbs, and no one will touch my case. Greatest case that ever lived. The only reason I'm being vilified and tortured in their eyes is because of my wealth. I never did anything wrong, never stepped on a crack. All I did was make money, and that made people mad because they don't make anything. So I took whatever the amount is, I think it's 14,000, over a 40-year period. I think that's 40-year period. Because I still have a few more years. I still have another 5 years left on my contract with myself till 2032. Till 2032, another 7 years left on my contract. December 2032. I'm making so much money, but I'm just not being paid for it. December 2nd of 2032, that's my retirement day. Everyone knows it. Mayor London Breed said, no, I got to leave before then because I'm just too rich and I'm causing problems. I said, I don't come to you. You guys come to me and put a case on me. The day before, every case that's been put on Joel Babbs, the day before the case has been put on me. I can't get out of my own way. I don't make the cases. And they tell me I create a hostile work environment. How could I create a hostile work environment? I'm not in control of anything here. Only thing I do a damn good job of controlling my billions that are now trillions. There's no, and think about this one thing. There's no law that says you should be or shouldn't be paid because you create wealth for yourself and your family. I am so wealthy. I'm the first trillionaire. We got to talk about it. I know it's a hard subject and I don't want to talk about it. I didn't want to talk about it all these years but they know something was different about me. Believe that. That's why they came calling. I see people spend their money crazy. I don't apply to that. I figure Warren Buffett made it through the Great Depression with minuscule amount of money. I can do the same thing with you not paying me any money. So how did I live this whole time? One would ask. I lived off my past investments. But keep in mind, my investment, I created an investment community. I created billionaires. And as soon as my money will be released, which it will, there's no legal right to my money. And I'm demanding my money and I'm demanding to be reinstated. But there's no legal right to my money whatsoever. The government has no legal right. This is exactly the abuse that Donald Trump is talking about. This is it. Government just full on rogue and just taken from American people. And they took a hell of a lot from Joel Babbs. All because I'm rich. No, all because I'm the richest person that ever lived. And think about this, how all this abuse that didn't have to take place, all this did was create the wealthiest person that ever lived that ever walked the face of this earth, that ever breathed in this whole world. They made my wealth 100 times even more. They made me 100 times more wealthier than I ever could have been on my own if they just left me alone. I would have only been worth $1.5 trillion. But because I made $1.5 trillion organically, they didn't pay me within the 60 days. Within the 60 days, they were supposed to pay me after they retired me out illegally, but they didn't pay me within the 60 days. I made the money, over $1 trillion organically. They didn't pay me for the 60 days, telling me another fraudulent thing. Well, you ran out of time. How you run out of time on time worked, time spent where you were beaten or drugged up to the point to where they pumped diabetes sugar into me. I had to stay there night after night. They would take me off my overtime assignments and pump me full of sugar, diet, power aids, Coke, and then I was rushed to the hospital. My family rushed me to the hospital in February 17th. February 17th, I was rushed to the hospital. I was rushed to emergency with a blood sugar level of 1,500. 1,500. I had to report to my lieutenant then, racist Tim Payne, to tell him my condition. He said, "Eek." He would go on to say, in person, "Good for you." Damn, you didn't die? Yeah, so everyone was pretty upset when I didn't die. It killed all my organs and everything like that because it fried them. I'm on the mends and everything from that. I work out every day. I eat right. I take care of myself. But imagine being handcuffed to a chair and being forced to drink sugary drinks every day, and then being told that black people are dirty, and that's what the piece, Mr. Mayor, that's the piece, Mr. Mayor Leary, that's the piece that they really became upset with when I secretly taped him talking. That was just after drugging me, talking derogatory about black people and knocking their teeth out, and in the presence of Rob O'Sullivan. He was a commander at that time. Carl Bryant, officer, with me down there. Craig Tom, Sergeant Craig Tom, Craig Canton, and Rick Arahu. They would hold me down and beat me and force me to swallow Coke and Powerade, while Tim looked on and rewarded them with overtime, later that day or any day. And he didn't know until I made my EEO complaint. And that's when the POA and Chris Shea, Marty Holleran, Hector Sinez, Greg McEachern, Joe Engler, let's see, Brian Philpott, Danny Manning, Jesus, so many people. Ricky Guerrero's nephew, Kevin Royale, Tracy McRae, Tony Montana, Tony Montoya, Denise Flaherty, Pete Walsh, Tui Mena, Tui something, Mena. It's just they would all meet in the room or meet separately or do things separately. Lieutenant down there, just countless people that would, so many people, man, so many people. Each one would do a separate thing, but they would all come together and rally behind Tim Payne because he was white and I was black. And Yolanda Williams, you gotta remember that the OFJ is controlled by the POA, and those Negroes over there, the most self-serving. Black people in general in the department is just whores for the white man in the police department, and that's probably indicative of police departments across the country. But all this is allowed to fester and grow because the model itself is broken. They take offense and anything that's good, that grows, that creates something, they have a problem with it. They kill, steal, and lie. So that's Joel Babbs is gonna fly in direct competition, or I'm gonna be seen as enemy number one because I'm not like them. And I never would be. Angela Wilhelm, Lieutenant Wilhelm, Angela Wilhelm, in the lawyers. Oh man, the lawyers run the dumb officer, the greedy lawyers, all led by lawyers, outside lawyers, some inside lawyers, like my lawyer that turned on me and quick pro quo, got she's right now a sitting judge at 400 McAllister. What's her name? Marlene Randall. She sold me out. She sold me out like you wouldn't believe. But Mayor Leary, you have a a lot of firing to do. You have some good people there. There's a few good people there. There's some really good people there. But you got a lot of bad apples, and I did something just to show you where the loyalty lies with your chief, your crooked chief, your killer chief that numerous times he tried to kill me directly by shoving a gun in my mouth, having me on the floor with Mike Will Bunsen put the gun in my mouth and stood over me with Nick Buckley and another one. Nick Buckley, he's standing there. I'm so traumatized. I was so traumatized at the time, and keep in mind my blood sugar count was up. Stood over me. I think the mayor was there at the second one. She wasn't there at the first one. She was there at the second one. All hands on deck meeting on a Monday. Tony Montoya was there. Bocconi was the chief architect of stealing my plate off my truck. That's when I was booked, Mayor. You'll see that I was booked. How could I steal my plate? And they said the plate, the sticker on the plate, the whole plate was removed, sir. And they said the sticker on the plate was incorrect, but the sticker was my sticker from another vehicle. So why do you need to, and it was parked legally inside, sir. So why do you need to steal my plate? And what happened to my plate? But I would be charged and charges dropped. I had to save my own self. She bailed out on me. And I said, look, I have all the proof that everything is mine. The state of United States, the state of California came in, DMV, and they said, is no impact, is no adverse impact. We didn't lose a dime on Mr. Babbs, and it was already paid prior. All I need to do is run the vehicle and to pass smog. Just reset the computer on my excursion. I was booked for that I was booked for having the incorrect tab on my vehicle, but the plate was through chain of custody, never returned. I was never given a case number for something that was stolen from me. So I go in and make a report, and I'm booked for making a fraudulent report. See the Google Drive, sir. Take a look at the Google Drive. You'll see fingerprinted and booked, sir. Family devastated. Sir, I'm sorry I'm looking so good after all this beating and everything I've gone through. I'm sorry that, God kept me well, sir, but I got to tell you, they have, sir, from after the academy, sir, I have over 800 missed or incorrect checks, sir. Not one check correct from the 2 weeks, from Tuesday to bi-weekly Tuesday, sir. Not one check in 34 years. People live check to check. They can't go 1 month without this. Their finances would be devastated because they live on debt. Sir, I'm appealing my case to you. And I'm going from here. I've got so many meetings and things like that. It's just a wildfire where this thing is going. But it's built on illegal actions, cronyism. It meets all the RICO statutes. You have a governor that's killing people out there. Over 26 people killed in the fire down in LA. That was directed at me to silence me, and that's why I took off my first video back in October. I took it off because I said some unflattering things about him in that video. So I took it off, so he wouldn't kill anyone else for knowing what he did to Joel Babbs. I put it out there. I took it back. I had my director of that video take it down because I didn't want anyone else killed. When I outed him about using my money to buy a house, when I outed him about balancing the California debt with my $3.2 billion. With my $3.2 billion. Joel Babbs is the only thing that's making money in California. Every business is just about run out of here. I'm the golden goose. I'm the 800-pound gorilla in the room. I'm the only one that's cranking out money, no matter what. No matter what. And I'm the only one in the world, Mayor, that has not been paid because of the color of my skin and how much is in my bank account, how much money I make. Nobody else. Mayor, I just lost my house because of this. My house went into foreclosure when I came down to your office on April 2nd at 10:38. Did they tell you I was there? No, they didn't tell you. But you know what? The next day they send goons by my house. They send them by my house, tell them, hey, don't you go down to the mayor's office no more. You looking to get killed? What are you that stupid now? A car, I got pictures and everything, Mayor. Alejandro, Aleman Alejandro comes by my house and say, hey, how's retirement? How's retirement with the windows all tinted? I said, wait a minute. Yesterday I was just down at the mayor's office. What's going on here? He said, hey, how's retirement? A second time. I have the audio and everything, Mayor. Did they ever tell you about that, Mayor? They're running a criminal empire right under your nose. The chief has to go. David Lazar has to go. Pete Walsh has to go. Bob Mosier has to go. And let me tell you something, Chief. Mayor Larry. You come from money. I have all the money. I make all the money. We're not liked. We're outsiders. Because they're poor people trying to punch up with people that make money. That's it. They rely on our money. And now this chief is sitting there with his alliances to the mayor, past mayor, and the governor that said he's got a lifetime job for what he did to Joel Babbs, that he thinks, because you don't know yet until this video, until you see your inbox tomorrow, you don't know all this is going on. So your 100 days, I saw you shaking a little kid's hand in a tenderloin. But your administration's under fire. It's destined to fail. You have to address this. Make it right, because do it like the world is watching. You got to do it by the numbers, Mayor. You got to reinstate Joel Babbs. You got to give Joel Babbs his money. $2.5 billion. All certified by the government. All the numbers year over year. My return is right there. Right now, I haven't been paid a salary. I've been illegally fired. The only person in the world hasn't been paid. I can't get another job selling free popsicles. I don't have any money coming in, sir. But yet I'm the richest man on paper, certified by the federal government as the richest. I make Elon Musk look like he needs employment. 300 and something billion? That's kids play to me. That's kids play. And think about it. I'm richer than 12 of all the richest men in the world. You can bind 12 of them together. 12 or 13? Was it 14? You can find 14 of the richest people that's here here on the Forbes 500 list. Joel Babbs sits at way atop of all of them. I'm richer than 14 of them put together right now. Give me my money. It starts and it ends with you, Mayor Leary. I'm sorry to bring it to you this way, but it has to be done. This is unfair. This is unconstitutional. This flies in the face of the rule of law. I'm counting on you to save my house. Counting on you, sir. This house is not mine. This house is in my wife's name, and she has my last name. And she's crying her heart out right now because she lost this house because of me, because of the retaliation done to me, because of the unfair treatment done to Joel Babbs, because I'm a man of honor. I refuse to live on my knees. I stand up to the end. This is America. Make it right or go to jail. That's the alternative. Either make this right or go to jail. Because now you've been put on the clock. You've been put on notice. The clock's ticking. Thank you.